Hi, I'm Chuck Chvala, former Senate Majority Leader.
And I'm Scott Jensen, former Assembly Speaker.
And we're the insiders. So, Scott, what the heck happened to polling? I mean, 2 presidential elections in a row, they said they changed it. What happened with polling all across the country, including in Wisconsin? It was just dead wrong and made me look like a goofball on election day.
I think it made a lot of people look like goofballs on election night, starting with all the television networks and all the newspapers who reported that Wisconsin was going to be taken by Biden by 17 points. There was a lot of egg on people's faces on election night. Some pollsters are now saying, well, it's just really a Trump phenomenon. We just haven't been able to figure out how to handle Trump. No, this is a much bigger problem than that. I think they've got 3 problems that they need to figure out before the next set of elections, or they're going to lose a lot of customers, and they've already lost trust in people all over the country. The first problem they have is they haven't figured out what to do about the shaming. There's a lot of people who don't want to tell someone who they're going to vote for right now. Even if it's an anonymous pollster, they're just not comfortable telling people who they're voting for. And that's not just working class whites who are going to be voting for Trump. You saw that there was a larger than expected portion of the Black community and Hispanic community who voted for Donald Trump and for Republican candidates. They don't feel comfortable in their communities talking about who they're voting for either. So they have a problem with shaming. They have a problem trying to figure out the composition of the electorate. They're working off of, I think, old models of who's expected to show up. And we saw a tremendous increase in turnout here in Wisconsin. And that turnout came mostly from non-college educated whites who were under polled in the polling. So they didn't have enough of them in their polling, but they showed up in bigger numbers than expected, and they've got to figure out how to redo the models that they're using for their polling. And then I think really the last thing is technology. Yes, we moved from landlines to cell phones, and they were able to figure that out. But now so many people communicate in other ways. And what young person actually answers their phone when it's got a phone number they don't recognize? They don't. They let it go to answering. We've got to find other ways to reach people, other technologies. Maybe it's texting, maybe it's online, and they've been doing some of that. The pollsters who were most successful were trying to talk to people with different forms of technology, and I think we're going to see more of that going forward.
I think most of Scott's analysis there is right on, but I think, frankly, what Scott is describing is a system that may not work going forward, may not work very well. Right? Seriously, it just is not going to be a reliable predictor because turnout could be different and a whole range of things. And I think the shaming thing that Scott has is significant, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first, I want to tell you where Democrats are going, and this is maybe revealing a secret, but I think it's got to be said. And that is, we have figured out what to do. We are going to go with psychics. Psychics are much more reliable. And you know they'll tell you exactly where things are going to be, and every bit as accurate as the pollsters. So we're going psychics next time. We're getting rid of all the pollsters. Save us a ton of money. We can put more money on TV or into digital ads. So first of all, we're going with psychics. And secondly, on a semi-serious note, polling is not a science. It is a clown car. I mean, it has really gotten to be so bad. I cannot tell you, and you guys saw this. If you're an insider, you're watching dozens, if not hundreds of polls across the country. They were all off, including Franklin, which I think operates very conservatively. They were still way off. So clearly something is seriously wrong. Now, let me get to a truly serious answer. And I think with regard to, I think a huge amount of what Scott is talking about, the shaming, is a really big deal. I have a couple of ideas on how we might be able to more accurately portray that and how we might more accurately be able to find it. And I think that is going to be the key. The pollster who can figure that out, and I've got some thoughts, and I'm not a pollster, but I play one on TV. That is something that I think is going to be critical for anybody to be valuable. Scott is right. You notice he quickly went over they won't have as many customers. They have to figure out how to make this work, or people will not use them. The only reason, Scott and I both know this, we don't care, we never do a poll 2 days before the election because you cannot change what you're going to do for a candidate. Professionals don't do the last day poll. We don't want to know the horse race the last day. We want to know it a week ahead of time so we make our final buys and our final movements of money. If these people cannot deliver product, they will not have as many customers. And that is going to be a big change in the industry. It is terrible. And my jokes about this are only a slight bit off from the truth as to where we are on polling.
Well, I intend to save a lot of money in the next election cycle. I'll be spending a little bit less money on polling and a lot more trusting my gut. I think there's going to be a lot of politicians who do that.
See you next time, guys.